We generate millions of dollars in email revenue every single year. And there are a few things that we actually do at the email level that make them convert extremely well. And so in today's video, I'm gonna be sharing 5 ways to convert more with your Shopify email. So with that being said, let's dive right into it. So the first one is to make sure you utilize hyper-personalization or zero-party data. So what's zero-party data? Zero-party data is data you collect usually at the pop-up level that allows you to understand your customers at a deeper level, right? Because when you collect, like, let's say an email through your pop-up, that's the only info you've got, right? If you actually ask questions about what they're looking for, their main pain points, etc., you'll be able to customize their customer journey, so through flows, campaigns, etc., to align better with their, again, obstacles, pain points, etc., and thus create more compelling copy and messaging, way more compelling copy and messaging. So again, the zero-party data is usually collected at the pop-up level, but also you can collect some at the on the post-purchase sequence, so through a survey, for example, right? So through the zero-party data, as I mentioned before, you'll be able to understand your audience's current problems, pain points, goals, and you'll be able to tailor your messaging accordingly. With proper zero-party data utilization, you can definitely, for example, at the welcome series level, you can easily double the revenue by having more tailored copy that actually resonates more with the audience, because again, you understand what they're looking for exactly, right? So more relevant content, and that could be again at the flow level or just your campaigns, equals more effective copy angles, which equals way more revenue generated. So emails without personalization leaves a poor impression, which equals less sales. Obviously, if you're sending the same generic messaging to your entire audience, even though some people have different goals, obstacles, etc., then of course you'll be leaving a lot of money on the table, for sure, right? So here I've got some examples from some pop-ups collecting zero-party data for this skincare brand. They're asking what's most important when choosing an anti-aging product: past results, clean, safe ingredients, visible, lasting improvements. And then again, they will actually tailor for example, the welcome series or abandoned checkout, etc., based on what you answered here, which is extremely important. Here, you're interested in these different categories here. Here, they're asking a pretty cool question, which is, what's the brand of your best fitting bra? And then that way, again, they'll be able to help you understand, or like help the customer understand what the best solution is, right? Here, Avi, you've got 20% off. To claim your discount, tell us what's your goal. And then healthy hair, skin and nails, slimming down, boosting immunity, balancing my mood. And then again, they will tailor the customer journey accordingly, and then make way more money, essentially, by having a more tailored copy messaging, again, which is aligned with with what their response was here. You can ask a couple of questions at the pop-up level, and I can guarantee you that that's gonna triple your revenue, email revenue, by understanding your customers better. And not only because of email itself, but also because you will be able to understand your customers better, and that helps with product development, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so that's the first way to actually make your emails convert way more. So utilize zero-party data. Second way is to make sure that the above default section is optimized. So what's the above default section? It's the first section, like people see on their phones before the first scroll. So think of it as the hook of a Facebook ad, right? You need to hook people in and make sure all the important info is above default, the offer, everything, right? So the reason why is because 90% of your audience will not go through the entire email. So make sure the first section, aka the above default section of the email, is optimized and tells people what the email is about, what the offer is, and what to do exactly. So a CTA as well, ideally. Don't waste valuable email real estate with photos or useless elements. Get straight to the point. For example, here, for this email right here, we can definitely see that the first section is extremely optimized, because we can definitely see all the important info before the first call. I'm looking at the email on my desktop, of course, but if I was to look at it on my mobile, I'd actually have this section right here above default, which is extremely important. That's the main thing. So meet the newest obsession in nail art, and then we've got some copy here, and then the CTA. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. this is extremely good because again, this is above default, right? So yeah, make sure the above default section is optimized. That's the most important part of your email by far. Second, we've got have great, and this is mostly on the email design side of things, is make sure you have great color contrast, great usage of white spaces and large fonts, especially if you're using graphic-based emails, right? For whatever reason, I actually repeated what I said here, but essentially, you have to make sure, like for example here, I'm gonna show you some examples, but let me move this right here. Essentially, like here, we can definitely see that they're using like white, like color contrast, white space, and large enough fonts. I actually took these screenshots on my phone, and I can read everything just fine. Everything is very clear, very concise, and again, above default. So for example, this section right here, and this is just tying back to my previous point, we can definitely see this is the above default section, and I can definitely see everything that's important. Same here, right? And the contrasts are optimized. It has enough white space or enough space, and the fonts are large enough, even though this is a graphic-based email. So that means the fonts don't get converted, or the size of the fonts doesn't get automatically adapted to the mobile because it is a graphic, an image, if you will. So this is good, and this is bad. So here, I mean, like for example, here you wouldn't be able to read this right here, for example, or this right here. It's too small. I cannot read it whatsoever. Impossible, right? Even though the copy might be good, even though here the ATF, the above default section is optimized, I cannot read this. And here, for example, they're using just a ton of stuff crammed together, no white space, just too much stuff, especially for your mobile. It becomes very overwhelming, and most people actually just exit the entire email and just close it, right? So this is examples of what not to do here, and these are a couple of examples of what to do instead, okay? And same thing here, the contrasts are perfect. This is big enough, I mean large enough, the fonts, everything is good, and the ATF is optimized. So yeah, third point, have great color contrast, usage of white spaces and large fonts, especially again, if you're using image-based, graphic-based emails and not text-based, because with text-based emails, it doesn't really matter because there's no graphic components, right? Now, next point, we've got I've covered this multiple times before, but this is extremely important, is to make sure your emails are optimized for dark mode. So I've created multiple videos about this. You can check them out here, but essentially use transparent PNGs for your designs, for your images, add a white outline glow to your logo if it is black, right, or dark, or of a darker color, and also like be mindful of color changes and adapt your design. So white becomes black, black becomes white, and this is the most important tip I can give you: is test your email on your phone before sending it to the entire audience. So make sure you send an email test of your email to your phone, look at it, make sure everything's optimized, looks fine, and then you can actually send it to your entire email audience, right? Or your segment, whatever. So here, for example, this is what I mean by outline glow. It's just adding this to your logo, because if the background is white, it's gonna become black, and then it's not gonna be very visible if you're not using a glow here, if that makes sense, okay? Second thing is, this is some alternatives to dark mode if you don't want to deal with dark mode, because I personally hate dark mode. It is extremely annoying. So what we do sometimes to make sure everything is fine, no matter what, is we can either use image-based emails, so like these ones right here, right? So of course nothing gets converted into dark mode because there's no HTML elements, or another option is to use like text-based emails only, which is another great option that's actually underutilized by many brands. Text-based works extremely well, so make sure you actually test this out. This is just another whole topic for another video, but text-based emails are extremely powerful, so make sure you actually utilize them as well. So yeah, optimize for dark mode if you want to make sure your emails convert really well. Finally, think mobile first design. So most people will read your emails on their phones, as you may know or may not know. So first things first, make sure you use a one-column layout design. No more than 2 columns, otherwise too many elements. Like if you have multiple columns in your design, the width of your phone is it's smaller, obviously, so you don't want to have a bunch of stuff together. And as I mentioned before, you don't have a bunch of like elements cramped together. You want to have some white space, etc., and ideally use a one column layout. So as I mentioned before, yeah, lots of white space. Lots of white space, as it makes the email easier to navigate and way more aesthetically pleasing. For example, here in this email, we can definitely see that this is pretty optimized. This is one column layout, straightforward, to the point, and just the fonts are large enough, especially for mobile, as I mentioned before, and everything is fine, right? Whereas if I go to, I don't know, let me see if I can find another email that would actually look really bad on mobile. Let me see. Well, this is, for example, one text-based email that actually works really well. Like, for example, this email right here, when emails have these menus like with different buttons here, especially on mobile, they look extremely overwhelmed. There's too much stuff crammed together, and so it looks really bad. Also, I'm not really sure about this. This is HTML, so I'm not really sure how this is gonna look on dark mode, especially with this color right here. The rest is fine. I mean, of course, the email is not very super, well, let's say aesthetically pleasing, but yeah, I mean, I would say like when I don't really like these menus right here, like the top menus with like 3 different options and stuff like that. It just doesn't look cool on mobile. It doesn't look right. And again, you might be losing like conversions by not having an optimized design. It's not only about like having great looking designs, but also making sure they're optimized for sales, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. If you found value in this video, please don't forget to drop a like and a comment. Also, if you're running an e-commerce brand doing over 100K per month right now and you want a reliable, high-performing email marketing team full of experts to handle your email marketing, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to leave it into my scheduler in the description box below. So feel free to book down the works for you. We can go over your Klaviyo account and put together a specific plan of attack. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.